In the city of Veridia, where the sky was perpetually veiled by a lattice of interwoven towers, and the air hummed with the whispers of countless trades, people could exchange years of their lives for abilities and enhancements. This was the currency of Veridia, the very essence of time. Kael, a philosopher once brimming with dreams, now wandered the labyrinthine streets of Veridia as a gaunt, weary man. He had traded away almost all his years for profound knowledge and unparalleled wisdom, his once youthful visage now etched with the deep lines of premature aging. Each trade had stripped him of time, but filled his mind with the secrets of the universe, the meaning of existence, and the depths of the human nature. Yet, the more he knew, the more disillusioned he became. From a young age, Kael had been fascinated by the promise of the trades. The idea that one could exchange time for talent seemed the ultimate boon. He had eagerly traded away his childhood years to excel in his studies, his adolescence to master arts and sciences, and his early adulthood for philosophical insight. With each trade, he delved deeper into the mysteries of existence, seeking answers to questions that had plagued humanity for millennia. But as his knowledge grew, so did his sense of isolation. The people around him, engaged in their own trades, seemed to drift further away, absorbed in their pursuits of enhanced abilities. The vibrant city became a cold, mechanical place, where interactions were transactional, and time was the most valuable commodity. Kael's vast wisdom brought him no closer to understanding the simple joys and sorrows that connected people to each other. One evening, as Kael pondered the twilight from a crumbling parapet, he felt the weight of his imminent end pressing down upon him. The city that had once seemed so vibrant now felt hollow, its inhabitants mere shadows flitting between moments. It was then that he overheard a whisper, a fragment of conversation between two young traders. "Have you heard of the untouched? They say they live beyond the city's edge, refusing the trade." Intrigued, Kael followed the trail of whispers and rumours, his curiosity piqued by the idea of a life unenhanced by trades. He ventured beyond the towering spires of Veridia into the forgotten outskirts where the sky opened up, unobstructed and vast. After days of wandering, he stumbled upon a hidden village nestled in a lush valley, a stark contrast to the mechanical grandeur of his city. The villagers welcomed him with warm smiles and simple hospitality. They lived without the enhancements that defined Veridian life, relying on their natural abilities and the rhythms of the earth. Kael was struck by the vibrancy of their lives, their laughter, their sorrows, their raw, unfiltered emotions. Here he met Elara, a young woman with eyes that sparkled with life, and Doran, an elder whose stories were woven with the wisdom of experience rather than traded knowledge. As days turned into weeks, Kael immersed himself in their way of life. He learned to till the soil, to fish in the clear streams, and to find joy in the small, fleeting moments. The villagers shared their stories and their wisdom, which was not derived from the sacrifice of years, but from the lived experience of each passing day. One evening, as Kael sat by the fire, Elara spoke to him. "You possess great wisdom, Kael, but it seems to burden you." "What did you trade for it?" "My years," Kael replied, his voice tinged with regret. "I traded almost all my life to understand the universe, but now I wonder if it was worth it." Doran, the elder, joined them, his eyes gentle and knowing. "Wisdom is not merely the accumulation of knowledge, Kael. It is the understanding of how to live in harmony with the world and with oneself. Here we have no trades, but we find our own kind of wisdom in the simple act of living." Kael pondered their words, realizing that his quest for knowledge had blinded him to the true essence of wisdom. He had sacrificed his time, the most precious commodity, for answers that brought him little peace. The villagers, untouched by the lure of trades, lived each day fully, their lives rich with meaning derived from their connections with each other and the world around them. As his strength waned, Kael found solace in the simplicity of the village life. He spent his remaining days learning from the villagers, their unenhanced existence teaching him the value of a life lived in the present. He watched as they celebrated births, mourned deaths, and came together in times of joy and sorrow. There was a richness to their lives that he had never experienced in Veridia, a sense of community and belonging that transcended the need for enhancements. Ilara, with her boundless energy and unquenchable curiosity, became a close companion. She would sit with Kael by the river, asking him about his life in the city and the knowledge he had gained. In return, she shared the stories of the village, tales of love and loss, triumph and tragedy. Through her, Kael saw the beauty of an unenhanced life, a life where each moment was treasured for its own sake. As the seasons changed, Kael's body grew frailer, but his spirit found new strength in the wisdom of the village. He began to see the world through different eyes, appreciating the natural beauty around him and the simple pleasures of daily life. The villagers' way of living had shown him that wisdom was not a destination, but a journey, a continuous process of learning and growing. One evening, as the sun set over the valley, casting a golden glow over the village, Kael gathered the villagers around him. "You have given me a gift far greater than any trade," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You have shown me the true meaning of wisdom and the value of a life well lived." The villagers listened in silence, their faces illuminated by the firelight. Ilara stood by his side, her hand resting on his shoulder, a silent testament to the bond they had formed. Kael looked at each of them, feeling a deep sense of connection and belonging. When Kael passed away, the village mourned his loss, but also celebrated his life. He had come to them as a weary philosopher, burdened by the weight of his knowledge, but he had left as a beloved friend and teacher. His journey had brought him peace, not through the answers he had sought, but through the experiences he had shared with the villagers. In Veridia, people continued to trade their years for abilities, their lives a constant race against time. But Kael's story lived on in the village, a testament to the value of an unenhanced life. The villagers passed down his teachings, weaving his wisdom into their own stories and traditions. And so Kael's legacy endured, a reminder that true wisdom lies not in the accumulation of knowledge, but in the appreciation of the moments that make up a life. His journey had shown that a life well lived is one filled with love, connection, and the simple joys of existence. In the hidden valley, far from the trades and enhancements of Veridia, the villagers carried his memory in their hearts, honouring the philosopher who had found the meaning of life in their humble, unenhanced world.